Hey everyone, you won't believe this, but this next vlog, the one you're getting ready to watch, well, I forgot to film an opening for it. So it kind of just starts with me already at the tape.
Hey Jamin, how's it going?
Oh, hey Rampage. Meh, I forgot to film an opening sequence for my vlog, so I guess it's just going to start with hand histories with no context. Just boom, hand histories. Feels lame.
How long have you been doing this again?
I don't know, like 5 years?
See, a real vlogger would never forget something like that. This is why you aren't Vlogger of the Year. Do better, man.
It's Friday night, March 10th, and we arrive at the Encore and get seated in a 5-10-20 game almost immediately. The room is packed and there's 3 games at this stake level running. 1 must-move game, which I'm getting ready to sit down in, and 2 main games. As expected, the must-move game is the place to be. Massive pots being played, it seems every other orbit. Remember, this is a 3-blind game, so small blind, big blind, or second blind, and then the third blind, it's $20. In basically my first hand played, I opened the low jack to $50 with pocket deuces. Hi, Theory Jamin here. Let's see, you really shouldn't be opening pocket deuces here in a 9-handed game from the low jack. This is a losing position. I know, but a person can only sit there for so long, and it had been orbits at this point, so we opened at $50. The hijack calls and the button comes along as well. The small blind, either seeing this great squeeze opportunity or having a legitimate hand himself, or both, raises to $300. With action back on me, I quickly fold. The hijack folds, albeit not as quickly as you would think, and with only the button left, you'd think this hand would be over. You'd be wrong. The button calls the $300. Well, that's different. Heads up, the two of them see a flop of Jack 7-3 with 2 diamonds. The small blind continues for $600, which is approaching a pot-sized bet. In other words, it's a large bet. The button thinks about this for a while and decides to just move his whole stack in. $3,055. The table, once chatty, is now dead silent. Action returns to the small blind. He covers the button by $1,000 or so, but this shove by the button after calling my open and calling his squeeze is very strange. A lot of time passes, almost 2 minutes, before he says, call, and puts in a stack of chips. The dealer runs the rest of the board out. 10 of diamonds, 4 of spades. The button says, you got it. I have a 7. The small blind quickly turns over ace jack of spades and scoops an abnormally large pot with top pair. Unfortunately, I didn't get into any of these big pots at the must move. In fact, I don't think I won a hand at the must move or entered many pots at all. I wasn't there for very long before I was ushered into the main game. Though action was better at the must move game, it normally is, my card distribution was much, much better at the main game. I was actually able to enter pots. I won a few, I lost a few, nothing exciting, but at least we were able to get in the mix and tread water until it was time for bigger collisions.
Down to the dirt, always working, nose to the grind, all the time, yeah. Every day going to work, till I get numbered the first. I go berserk, get in my way, you get hurt. This is for what it is worth. I paid the cost, now that I ball, I gotta go get it. I want it all. I paid the cost, now that I ball, I gotta go get it. I want it all. I came here to win.
And we wouldn't have to wait too long before we got into one of those collisions. It's time for the Jack's Link Jerky Beef Jerky Guess the Hand I'm Holding Link Jerky game. Here we open an above average starting hand from under the gun to $50 and action folds all the way around to the second blind. He calls. The third blind then squeezes to $250 off what looks to be about a $1,300 stack. In other words, he's not very deep. I could just flat here, but the problem would be the second blind then entering the fray. A lot of boards might get kind of tricky to navigate with him in the mix. We 4-bet here to $550, basically a click back, and the big blind gets out of the way. Action now back on the third blind, and he thinks about it for a second. Then shoves all in for $13.45 total. We call instantly, covering. He then asked me the same question he was asking himself about 3 seconds earlier.
Rick G, Rick G25.
What's that?
Yeah.
10, 7, 6, deuce, ace for the clean board and a healthy uptick. We do river a set, which kind of sucks because you only river so many sets in your life. I'm not a fan of wasting one here unnecessarily. After winning that hand, we settle back into the normal groove of poker, meaning we open and get 3-bet, then 4-bet, and we fold, or we call and don't have enough equity to continue. Normal poker stuff. Eventually, though, we do find a hand worth caring about. In this hand, the hijack opens to $50, and we talk ourselves into entering this pot from the second blind with Queen 9 suited. Everyone else folds, and we're heads up. The flop of 8 of hearts, 7 of clubs, Jack of diamonds gets checked through, and in my mind, I'm thinking there could still be 4 10s in this deck. How sweet would one of those be right now? The dealer burns and turns the 10 of clubs. Damn, I'm good at wishing. What I wish I would have been better at here is my sizing. My $40 lead on this turn is just too small for this dynamic of a board. The hijack calls. The queen of spades hits the river, and sadly, my nuts aren't the nuts anymore. In previous hands this session, and in previous hands in previous sessions, this hijack has been caught bluffing more than once. I check, hoping that he bets and we can either increase that number or that we catch him value betting worse. In hindsight though, I would have been probably better served with bet folding over check calling with this run out. The hijack loads up and drops $200 into the middle. Oof. I don't like that size at all. There's now a one-liner to a straight on board, so he's not doing this with 2 pair or even a set. I talk myself into thinking that he still has bluffs, but honestly, I'm pretty sure I know what he has.
I know before the cards are even turned over.
A few hands later, the dealer pitches the cards and I quickly notice that I'm holding aces again. This time in the cutoff. The under the gun player opens to $50 and we 3-bet to $200 as this particular player doesn't seem to enjoy folding much pre-flop. He calls. Heads up, we see a flop of 7-8-4 rainbow and he checks. This isn't a great flop. It really falls directly into the wheelhouse of a lot of the hands that he may be calling me with pre-flop. Checking this back isn't the worst idea. We check. The situation doesn't improve when another 8 hits the turn and now he leads for $100. His lead is very small. Me raising here would make no sense as there aren't many 8s in the hands that I'm 3-betting an early position player with pre-flop. We call again. If I was looking for some sort of river blank in order to feel comfortable with my hand, we don't get it. It's the 9 of diamonds. Well, at least the clubs missed. Our villain now bets $340. His turn bet sizing wasn't in line with what an 8 would do, and his river bet sizing isn't either. A raise here I doubt beats the midpoint of his calling range, so we settle on another call. And pull in this pot when he exposes Ace-King offsuit. The night continues. In this hand, I open the cutoff with 9-8 offsuit. I'm a little concerned here. We can clearly see that 9-8 offsuit is not a thing from the cutoff. Do you have any idea what you're doing? Sorry about that. Like I was saying, open the cutoff with 9-8 offsuit and only the small blind calls. Flop, 9-9 deuce with 2 hearts. The small blind checks and we choose to continue with a really small size here. Same size I'd use for a lot of hands in this spot. There should be about $130 in this pot and we bet $20. The small blind doesn't insta-call, but he does call. The turn 5 of diamonds puts 2 hearts and 2 diamonds on board and the small blind checks again. We size up now by dropping $100 into the middle and again, another tank and another call. When the river 4 of diamonds hits, the small blind now leads for $30. A block bet, and a super tiny one at that. Diamonds got there, ace 3 suited got there, full houses, I guess, maybe? But would any of these hands use this size on the river? I vote no. I tank, then raise to $200, fully prepared to fold if re-raised, but the small blind insta-folds. So here is an interesting turn of events. We find ourselves at the Encore. We find ourselves doing a mid-session update for a vlog that I never really started. There's no beginning to this vlog. I just jumped right into the hands. I'm playing 5, 10, 20 here at the aforementioned Encore. Session is going really well, although it started off extremely slowly. There's 3 games going. 1 must move, and when I was at the must move, I don't think I played a single hand for 2 or 3 orbits before being moved to one of the main games, and in the main game I pretty quickly proceeded to pick up pocket aces, crack pocket kings, picked up pocket aces again, beat ace king. I remember losing a pot with queen 9 of diamonds when I turned the nut straight and then lost to the nut straight. I honestly haven't been put in any really hard, super tough decisions, and if I had to guess, I'd probably say I'm in the neighborhood of up, somewhere between 2K and 3K right now. Probably closer to 3. I'm calling this the mid-session update, but honestly, my table has taken a turn for the worst. Some of the wrecks are gone. It is starting to quickly become very decently pro-heavy. And it might be time to move on to greener pastures, but we'll see. There is your update, if you will. Not too long after that, we find ourselves opening ace-jack offsuit from under the gun to $50. This warrants a call from both the small blind and the third blind. Multi-way pots can be a little tricky, but when the 3 of us see the 10-9 deuce rainbow board, we all elect to check our options. The turn jack of clubs sure is pretty. The small blind takes the lead now with a $90 bet. The third blind exits and I call holding top pair, top kicker. A pretty good hand, but on this board, nothing to be fist pumping about. The river 4 of clubs isn't a complete blank. It does bring in flushes, but the small blind checking, coupled with me holding the ace of clubs, makes him holding a flush a lot less likely. So we need to get some value here. Targeting other jacks, we bet $120 and get quickly called. We expose our hand, he mucks his, and another pot is pushed our way. One hand passes prior to this next one. Here, there's a low jack limp for $20 and the hijack raises to $80. Action folds to me in the second blind, and I misclick. I bet $200 when I meant to bet $300. Fun fact about this hand is that I didn't even know I bet $200 until I began editing this video. This hand happened about a week ago and I really meant to bet $300. See? Live misclicks happen. The limping low jack folds and now a very tiny raise is in front of the hijack. He calls. The monotone heart flop of Jack 10-3 is checked through. As an aside, why do we call these flops monotone? Like, really, shouldn't they be monochrome? Isn't monotone a sound thing and monochrome a color thing? I guess I could look it up, but asking y'all seems strangely easier. Anyway, the turn pairs the 10 and there's another round of checks. My hand is really too good to bet and too bad to get called by much worse. Ace Queen and King Queen being the exception, and I block both of those. Nothing changes on the 4 clubs river. I expose Ace King high, and he mucks. Misclick for the win. Not everything is always smooth sailing though. In this hand, we open Ace Queen offsuit from under the gun to $50 and get a call from the button. The button is new to the table, an older guy, and at this point, I had seen him play only 2 hands, one of which went to showdown where he got caught bluffing a flush draw after betting turn and river. Heads up, we are pretty happy with the Ace of Clubs, 7 of Clubs, 4 of Diamonds flop and default to checking out of position. The button checks it back. The turn 8 of Diamonds appears and now there are 2 flush draws on board. We take the betting lead by leading for about half pot and the button calls pretty quickly. The river 5 of Spades doesn't bring in either flush draw, but it does put a one-liner to a straight on board. Another spot very similar to earlier in the vlog where bet folding might fare better than check calling. This opponent, although new to the table, seems to have a high propensity to bluff, although the sample size is small. We check and he fires, large, $240. I want to just fold so badly to this size. But him bluffing, even for this size, isn't out of the question. My river check says that I probably don't have a straight myself, so he could just be betting 2 pair or a set, which I also don't beat. I make the mistake of having too much hero call in my veins. I call and I'm abruptly $240 poor when he shows me 6-5 offsuit for a turn straight.
Yeah, let's try to knock one out at least. Let's go. It's my time. Don't care what you say, it's my time. I be the GOAT, I be the go-to. I be the one that people go to. You wanna play, then let me coach you. I go the way that I can show you. Up on the wave, ain't gonna go through that. Man, look at the way I'm bringing no school back. Man, look at the faces, better go and embrace it. Cause I ain't going away, you can't break this. Nothing on earth is gonna change this. You ain't singing my arrangement. To the top where I'm staying.
Interesting. From a cutoff open, you really should be raising Ace Queen suited a large percentage of the time from the 3rd blind. This will... Hey now, I'm just doing my job.
Didn't take too long, when I'm kill you, probably gon' make you strong. Now I'm in a house with Grey Poop Paul, feeling like wild, looking way too strong, way too ready, way too heavy too. Look at me on the track, now I'm ahead of you. Look at me on the map, how I'm getting through. It's my time, ain't God incredible. Woo! It's my time, oh yeah, get it, rain or shine.
All right, we are going to do, actually, I am going to do a mini wrap up for this mini session here at Encore 51020. In the game for, actually, I won't say what I was in the game for, and I won't say what I was out for, because the new rules are that we do it at home. But I'm leaving shortly after the mid-session update. Like, I literally just did the mid-session updates 20 minutes ago. But when it's time to leave, it's time to leave, right?
Time to leave, baby.
All right, so give me a bit and I'll see you at home. So, like I said, I'm home about 20 minutes later, so let's wrap this thing up. The Encore 51020 game was actually really good tonight. Like, card dead on the must move. Kind of got a little bit hot in the main game and ended up about, I don't know, $2,000 or so. In for 3,000, out for 5,000 and some change, 5,068. I'm definitely getting a lot more comfortable in that game than I was a couple months ago, and good things are happening. As far as any other fun factoids about the session, I did bump into Andrew Moreno. He let me know that it is Johnny Vibe's birthday today. Happy birthday, Mr. Vibrations. Sorry I didn't see you. I know you were playing on Live at the Bike. But that's about it. So, if you like the vlogs, leave me a comment. I'll probably respond eventually someday. And I'll catch you next time. Bye. All day, like all session, I didn't make a hand. Like, I barely had anything playable. It's, oh my God. Patience, man. Like, I know you just have to be patient and have to wait for your spots, but come on. Queen 6 offsuit every hand? 7-3 suited every hand? Towards the end, we were just like, F it, you know? That wasn't patience. I don't know what that was. This session. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna raise the cutoff. When it gets to me in the cutoff, I'm raising. That's my last hand. Whatever happens. Like, we're bumping it up in the cutoff. Session at the Encore was incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I heard.
It's time to go. You have something to say? Jada doesn't want to be on camera. Sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't mess up that many times this time. Not that many. Near perfect. Honestly, I don't think I've ever started a vlog without doing like a talk to the camera thing or something at the beginning. First time for everything, I guess. Picked up aces again. My table is making... So, like I said, about 15 minutes later, I am home. Let's wrap this thing up. The Encore 51020 game was... As far as any other fun factoids about the session, bumped into Andrew Moreno, and it is Mr. Johnny Vibes' my friend Jonathan Vibrations' birthday today. Happy birthday, Johnny. Sorry I missed him. I bumped into Andrew Moreno, and he let me know that it's Johnny Verb's birthday. Ugh. As far as anything else about the session, that's about it. Or at least that's all I'm really going to say about it. As far as anything else goes about the session, that's about it. Blah, 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 blah.
All mornings are the same. I don't wanna play this game. Let me go back.